All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna get over to our duck breast and we're gonna
Now you
cure it
mentioned
up.
curing it. Why are we curing the duck breast?
So, two reasons. We want to draw out a little bit of the moisture from inside the duck, the water content.
Why is that?
And what that's going to happen is that's going to allow all those flavors to penetrate the flesh of the duck.
So we have to take something out to let that smoke flavor in.
Exactly. And then
see.
also the other part is, of course, flavor.
Sure.
You know,
Right.
you want that to absorb right into the flesh of the duck.
Great.
So this is white Peking duck, and this has a really nice fat content to it. So all we're going to do is we're going to take a little star anise, which we ground up here. We also have fennel seed. We have ground black pepper, and we're going to use salt. So all we're going to do is take that spice blend, and we're going to gently put that over the duck breast, and we're just going to rub that on a little bit.
Now, where do you get your duck from? I know you're very concerned about the quality and sourcing of your ingredients.
Sure. So it comes from, we get some of our duck from Lancaster Farm Fresh. So that's a collaborative, it's a collaborative group of farmers who raise the White King ducks in the same way. So they get the same non-GMO feed. They're raised the same way, so you get a consistent product.
Very important.
So, and then when they eventually run out, you know, even though there's a bunch of small farmers, we have some other sources as well locally.
Great.
So, so we have the spice. We're going to do a little bit of salt.
It's not a cure without salt.
And we're not going to go too much on the salt, just enough. And then the sugar, and then the other thing, the other important part of this is when you're doing the curing process, and you can let this go for about 6 hours is fine. If you want to leave it go a little bit longer,
so that's really not much at all.
By all means, yeah. And you're still going to get all those flavors into the duck. So the important part of this is you want to eliminate the sugar from getting on the skin side of the duck.
Why is that?
Okay, so because what we're going to do in the next step is we are going to render some of that fat off because you're not going to get that rendering in the smoker. The smoker is to impart that flavor and not necessarily cook the duck. So you're not you don't want to have that real thick fat on the duck when you're serving it.
Crisp that up at this point
so
also?
We're gonna, so we're gonna, so after the 6 hours, and you can do that in the refrigerator.
Keep it in the fridge.
Yep.
Now, if you let this go longer than 6 hours, let's say you let it go 6 days, would you essentially have duck bacon?
Yeah, you know what's going to happen? The texture is going to get leathery.
Yeah.
Because that salt's going to draw out all the moisture from it.
Sure.
So it's just going to get
not
like
so
shoe
good.
leather. Yeah, not so pleasant. And the sugar, it's just going to be overpowering.
Okay.
So you just want to limit that to about 6 hours. So just you don't want the pan too hot. Just medium high heat.
And I noticed you had the skin scored a little bit.
Correct, and that's to aid in the rendering of the fat. It's going to render a little bit faster and more evenly. All right, so we're going to take that cure off, and then we're going to render the duck.
And you still want that sizzle when it hits the pan?
Absolutely, so it doesn't stick.
Yeah. Oh, great tip.
And then you don't want to go, you don't want to go too high during the rendering process because what's going to happen is it's going to get too dark, and then that fat isn't going to render.
Right.
So, and you want it very slow.
So how long will this take?
This takes about 7 minutes.
Okay.
And like I said, you want to, when you're rendering the duck, you don't want to walk away when you're doing this.
All right.
Stand by it.
First mistake we made.
Yep. And you don't want, so what you'll see is I left a little bit of sugar there, so you're going to get too much caramelization. So you want to put it on the lowest you can possibly do, and you can see all that fat.
Oh, so much already.
Rendering off the duck. It looks like the duck is just about ready, and you can see.
Gorgeous.
Right? You have that nice golden brown. You're rendering a little bit of the duck off, and then all we're going to do now is we're going to pour that fat off. We're going to save that for the vinaigrette.
Now, would you strain any of those solids out, or
absolutely
they're still flavored?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and then from here, we're going to take the duck.
You want to put it on a rack like this?
We're going to put it on a rack. So you always want to make sure that when you're smoking, whatever protein you're using, you always want that elevated and on a rack,
so the
because you
smoke
want the
goes
smoke to
all around.
circulate around the whole duck. You know, we're not smoking the top half or the bottom
Right.
half. We're
Got to
smoking
get
the whole piece.
all that flavor
So
in.
that'll allow that smoke flavor to surround and really get that nice smoky flavor.